At ADCC 2024, there was one submission that stood out above all, and that was the shotgun arm lock by Mateusz Szczeciński against Garry Tonon. In this video, we'll break down how Mateusz set up this lightning fast submission, explain why it's one of the most devastating upper body attacks in jiu-jitsu, and how the shotgun arm lock often reveals itself just when it's least expected. And if you don't already know me, my name's Sean. I'm a BJJ black belt and a founder of the BJJ education app, Jiu-Jitsu, which if you wanted to check out, I put a link in the description with some free instructional content. In the first round, Garry Tonon, one of my all-time favorite grapplers, faced off against Mateusz Szczeciński, who has been making waves with his leg lock game, a topic we previously explored on this channel. But he surprised many people this time by getting the submission win, this time with an upper body attack. And the entire sequence from setup to submission is just a few seconds. And the sequence all gets started with some hand fighting. Mateusz is playing seated guard right here. And then we're going to see Mateusz look to make a connection right here. He's going to fall back to supine and he's going to have that grip behind the calf. And to stop that inside reverse de la Hiva or the inside hook, Garry's gonna bend his knee, turn it to the inside, and at the same time, he's gonna block with his right hand here. And then that frees his knee, and then he's gonna step to an outside passing position. So he has both his feet on the outside. And from here, there's gonna be some hand fighting as Garry works to continue to pass on the outside, clears the leg. Mateusz was monitoring his right hand, he moves it to his left. And then right away, he sets that K hook right there to block the guard pass. Same time, Garry's holding that foot right there. And then Mateusz is going to move. He's going to get that scoop grip. He's going to have that K hook and he's going to have control of the wrist. Meanwhile, Garry controls the far leg. So this is really subtle, but what Mateusz wants to do, he wants to get that left hand on Garry's elbow. But the issue is it's on the outside, it's far away. And what he's going to do, he's going to invert and he's going to bring this knee in to bring that elbow closer. Right there. So now the elbow's in range. So now he can grab it with his arm right into the finishing position. So it's right on his hip right here. Now he's going to invert and go immediately into the breaking position and he gets the tap. We're going to go back to the match in a little bit because there's still a lot more to break down about how that was set up and go into more detail of the finishing mechanics. But first, I just wanted to share a super brief clip outlining some of the details of how this technique works. It's with the gi on, but the same principles apply and no gi.
So I'm going to scoop his leg, getting an underhook, taking my foot off of the hip. I'm going to take my foot off of his bicep, pummel it outside of his arm. I start to widen my knee and invert. From here, I'm gripping his elbow, getting my elbow inside of his wrist. I kick the grip free, pull my hips up, my knee goes over his ear, hip into the elbow, and get the finish.
So in that clip, it was off a pants grip, but that brings us to the question of why in the match was the arm in position for the arm lock to begin with. And to really answer that question,
we have to go back.
So the actual finish didn't come until overtime, but up until that point, the entire match was full of action. And if you haven't checked it out yet, I'll be sure to include a link in the description. And there were many submission attempts from both competitors, but the overwhelming majority, especially from Mateusz, were lower body attacks. One particular sequence that's important to highlight is when Mateusz attempted to go for the backside 50-50 position from the K guard. And the goal of this is the transition from the K guard to the backside 50-50 position, which opens up all sorts of opportunities for leg attacks, which is something we saw from Felipe Andrew at CJI, where he used this K guard to backside 50-50 position to finish with an inverted heel hook. So after looking out for and defending one style of attack over and over again, a grappler can become primed to defend one style of attack. You can think of this like in baseball where a pitcher might throw a series of low pitches to set the batter's eyes before then later surprising them with a series of high pitches. So after all the lower body attacks throughout that match, the stage was now set to switch things up and attack the upper body. Which brings us back to our match, because I think the reason why he was in position for this arm lock is because he was defending the K-guard backside 50-50 entry. You know, he has the hips far away, he had his knee to the mat, but more importantly, it's his hand on the ankle, because if someone controls that ankle, it's very difficult to then shoot it around for the backside 50-50. In fact, we saw another very similar sequence from Felipe Andrew at CJI. He's playing seated guard here, his opponent's going to go to the outside, he's controlling that ankle. Felipe Andrew sets up that K hook right here. He's gonna go to K guard right here, and notice how his opponent, he has that grip right there on the ankle. And what's gonna happen here that's different is that his opponent's gonna try to come chest to chest, bring their head down, which makes the armbar difficult, but it also gives opportunities for other submissions. So again, his head's down there, he has an ankle grip. Now watch how Felipe inverts and goes right into a triangle setup. And in case you're curious, in a recent video on this channel, we talked about another grip you can use to defend this backside 50-50 entry from K-guard. And in case you want to learn more about K-guard, including entries, attacks, defenses, troubleshooting, John Calistine has a great course available on Jiu-Jitsu, which if you want to check out either of those things, I'll be sure to include links down below in the description. But now let's talk about why the shotgun grip arm lock is so sneaky and devastating. The overwrap armbar grip is often called the shotgun grip. I've heard it described like this because it's like you have your hand on the pump of a shotgun. Personally, I think of the term shotgun grip as when you're cupping the elbow, but there's also overhooking the arm completely and even grabbing your own leg. What all these variations have in common is that the arm you are attacking is tucked in your armpit, which is the important detail we're focusing on. I use all the terms like shotgun, overhook, and overwrap interchangeably throughout this video. And I don't want to get too much into which variation is called what, because that can vary depending on who you ask. Kind of like in The Walking Dead, how every group has a different name for the zombies.
Walkers, lampreys, lurkers, geeks, corpses, the dead, biters, walker.
And what makes this type of arm lock particularly strong is because your arm is trapped in place and the elbow joint lies directly on top of the hip joint, which is used to apply the braking pressure. The braking mechanic for this arm lock is very similar to what you might have seen in all those videos of people breaking baseball bats using jiu-jitsu.
Yep. Please don't hurt yourself.
I won't.
That's pretty easy.
That was the fastest one.
And it can be so sneaky because you don't need the traditional hand or wrist grips to finish the arm lock. All you need to do once the arm is in position is extend your hips. And to show you how quickly this can come on, Mateusz hit a very similar arm lock at the ADCC trials. And what happens here is opponent's gonna step forward, getting the knee in the middle. Mateusz is gonna go to his side. He's gonna get that scoop grip, set up the K guard, and then he's gonna swing that leg over, trap the elbow, and get the arm lock. That wasn't the end of the match though. There was a dispute in whether his opponent tapped. Here's another angle where you can get a better look at things. What do you think? Do you think that was a tap? Personally, I don't think it was a tap. I think his opponent just grabbed the knee and Mateusz was being careful not to hurt his opponent, so he let go immediately. And in case you're curious, Mateusz went on to win this match by arm lock in overtime, this time using a Choi bar setup. And there are many other setups to the shotgun arm lock. Another common entry is attacking the near side arm from side control. A nice benefit of this grip as well is that you don't need to have your leg over the head to apply braking pressure. This is true whether you're on top or on bottom. And there are plenty of other entries as well. Here's another example from ADCC. We have Owen Jones here on the right, and he's gonna defend a takedown and get an overhook. Right here, he has that overhook. Now watch as he's gonna step over and use that to get an arm lock, finishing in a very similar position to Mateusz right here. He's gonna extend and get the submission. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please subscribe because I have many more like it planned for the future. We spent a lot of time in this video talking about threats of leg lock attacks from the K-guard position can set up upper body attacks. Well, the opposite is just as true. You can use upper body threats like the shoulder crunch or the arm lock to cause your opponent to posture up, creating space then to get this scoop grip, set up the K-guard, and attack the backside position.
I have a nice high shoulder crunch. I'm controlling above the shoulder. I can lock my hands together. From here, my opponent goes to pull away from here. As they go to pull away, knee inside, knee and elbow, K-guard there. If they step the leg up, makes it even better from here. And we also have the option of if they try to stay locked up from here, once they lock those hands, I'm going to take a scoop and I'm going to start cutting my angle. And what I really want to do is I want to pressure down on this. So as I go to pressure down on this, when I go to cover the head, they go to posture out of that from there. And now from here, we're right there, back in a good K-guard.
With so much focus on lower body attacks throughout the years, I wonder if we might be beginning to see a trend and shift back towards upper body attacks. Regardless, being able to transition and thread in between upper body and lower body attacks seems to open up opportunities for both. Because why ignore 50% of the human body? Anyway, that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching.